Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Kickstart Your Real Estate Investing. Last week we spoke about how to do a cash flow analysis by taking a concrete example and running through the numbers. Today we are going to talk about the next financial metrics which is going to be important for you when you do your real estate investment underwriting, and this one is more around cash on cash return. So what exactly is cash on cash return? Cash on cash return is a ratio between your cash flow which you received and the money which you have put in as an equity as part of your real estate investment. Now, why is this important? So let's take this example, right? Let's assume you did a cash flow analysis and you came back and said that I can make $5,000 per year as cash flow from this particular investment which I'm doing. Now, is that good? Is that bad? From a cash flow perspective, it is good in the sense that you have enough revenues coming in, you have taken out your expenses, and what is left is a good chunk of money, which is your cash flow. It allows you to build your reserves, and it also allows you to use that money to invest in the future. But from an investment perspective, what's really missing is 5,000 a good return for the money you're putting into this particular deal? So let's take this example further, right? So let's assume you have invested $50,000 as part of down payment, closing cost, or other expenses you might have as part of this deal. Now you got $5,000 in as part of your cash flow for the $50,000 that you have invested. So the cash on cash return is going to be 5,000 divided by 50,000, which is going to be as a percentage 10%. So 10% seems like a good return on this investment which you're making. Now, if you still had the same $5,000 coming in as cash flow, but you had invested $100,000, now your return on investment on this particular, the cash on cash return for this one has now fallen down to 5%, which is not a great deal, so to speak, because you can buy like treasury bonds today for 3.5%, which is a very risk-free kind of investment. So you might not want to just get another 1.5% just to invest into real estate. So you might want to start looking at it and saying, what is my target cash on cash return? Like, how do I make sure that the money I'm investing in this particular deal is giving me a good return or not? Now, there are two sides to this thing. Or if you look at this ratio perspective, first part of the ratio talks about your cash flow, right? So from a cash flow perspective, there are two variables you can play with. One is the revenue side and other is the expenses side. So when you do your analysis and you can say, yeah, for the first year, my cash on cash return is not that great, but is there a good potential on this value add real estate which I'm buying that my revenues go up quite dramatically in the next couple of years, which allows my cash flow to go up, and something which I'm just looking at maybe 5 to 7% cash on cash return is now able to give me a 15% cash on cash return. So you should also try to look a little further ahead. While it is okay to look at what your current rate of return is going to be, a cash on cash return for this particular investment in the first year, because you will also be investing mostly in more value add kind of deals, you should be looking at what are the potential of growth of my revenues in the year 2, 3, and 4. And based on that, you should run the full analysis of this thing. One other aspect you might look at is the amount of money you have invested in it. So maybe that same $50,000 which you're investing it now, if you could come up with an arrangement where you could have some part of that loan taken care of by someone else, but you can still have the same amount of returns coming to you, now your cash on cash return also goes up. So depending on what levers you're going to use, you can then decide whether the cash on cash return is a good one for you or not. Just like cash flow gives you a good understanding of the health of your particular investment, how is the cash flowing in, do you have enough reserves? The cash on cash return talks about what are the kind of returns you can expect out of it, what can allow you to grow your wealth and allow you to get a good return, because your cash on cash return is a good metric for you to apply across different real estate investments, and then come back and say, okay, for this particular investment, I'm getting a cash on cash return of 5%. For this investment, I'm getting 8%. And what is the probability of which investment will grow further? Based on those analysis, you can decide which particular investment makes sense for you. So cash flow analysis and cash on cash return. Once you do these two calculations and come up with the numbers which come out of it, this will give you a fairly good idea of which investment is going to give you good returns and which investments are not going to give you good return. All right, so if this was helpful to you, please go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.